Embarking on a California coast road trip is more than just a journey. It's an immersive adventure through some of the most magnificent and varied natural landscapes that the Golden State has to offer. The Pacific Coast Highway, often referred to simply as the PCH, is the iconic ribbon of road that threads its way along over 650 miles of California's coastline, stretching all the way from the redwood forests of Mendocino County in the north to the sun-kissed beaches of Dana Point in the south. Every mile offers new vistas. Each turn reveals a different facet of California's wild, untamed beauty, and every stop along the way promises a fresh adventure for the senses. To truly appreciate what makes this journey so extraordinary, let's explore the top nature destination places you simply cannot miss on your California coast road trip, highlighting the very latest and most unique spots that have recently become more accessible or have heightened their allure. Begin your journey in the northern reaches of California, where the air is thick with the scent of ancient evergreens and the coastline is rugged, mysterious, and draped in mist. One of the crown jewels of this region is the Avenue of the Giants. This 32-mile stretch passes through the heart of Humboldt Redwood State Park, a sanctuary for some of the tallest and oldest trees on Earth. Driving here is like entering a different world. Towering redwoods, some soaring over 350 feet into the sky, create a cathedral-like canopy overhead. Sunlight filters through dense branches, illuminating patches of vibrant green moss and delicate ferns on the forest floor. The serenity is palpable, the silence broken only by the occasional call of a songbird or the soft rustling of leaves. Walking among these trees, you feel a sense of awe and humility, reminded of the scale and resilience of the natural world. But the wonders of the North don't end there. Venture a little further, and you'll find the Fern Canyon Trail in Redwoods National Park. This 1-mile loop is a living fairy tale, where the canyon walls rise tall and straight, carpeted with five-finger ferns and adorned with veils of moss. The air here is cool and moist, the ground soft underfoot, and the only sounds are the gentle trickle of water and the distant calls of woodland creatures. It's no wonder that Fern Canyon has been used as a filming location for movies seeking to evoke the feeling of ancient, untouched wilderness, because that's precisely what it offers. As you walk, every step brings new wonders, from intricate spiderwebs glistening in the morning dew to the sudden dart of a salamander across your path. Heading south along the PCH, the landscape begins to shift. The forests gradually give way to rolling hills, and soon you arrive at the dramatic coastline of Central California. Here, Big Sur reigns supreme, a region celebrated worldwide for its jaw-dropping cliffs, pounding surf, and wild, untamed beaches. The road itself becomes a marvel, winding along the edge of sheer drop-offs, with the Pacific Ocean surging hundreds of feet below. Every overlook, every bend, is a photo opportunity, but none are quite so arresting as those found near Pfeiffer Beach. Accessible via the recently reopened Nacimiento-Ferguson Road, which, after extensive repairs, welcomed travelers again in November 24. This stretch of coast is both wild and welcoming. Pfeiffer Beach stands out for its unique rock formations, crystalline sand, and the iconic Keyhole Rock Arch that frames the setting sun in certain seasons. As the surf rushes through the arch, the sunlight blazes orange and purple, creating an unforgettable spectacle. The beach itself is a mosaic of purples and golds, thanks to the rare manganese garnet particles that tint the sand. Walking here as the sun dips behind the horizon, you can sense the ageless power of wind and waves that have shaped this coastline for millennia. Further along the central coast, there's a more remote gem for the adventurous traveler: Point Sal State Beach. Tucked away in Santa Barbara County, Point Sal is not for the casual visitor. It demands a commitment, requiring a 4.5-mile hike to reach its windswept sands. But the reward for your effort is a slice of the California coast that feels untouched by time. The cliffs here are rugged, the surf wild, and the wildlife abundant. Seals bask on the rocks, sea otters glide through the kelp, and pelicans wheel overhead. The sense of isolation is profound, the beauty raw and unfiltered. It is in places like Point Sal that you remember how much of California's coastline remains wild and unspoiled. And speaking of new horizons, Sonoma County's Estero Americano Coast Preserve has recently opened to the public as of July 2025. This is a fresh addition to the list of must-see nature destinations along the coast, offering hiking trails that meander through rolling meadows, along bluffs, and down to secluded coves. The views here are nothing short of spectacular. The Pacific stretches endlessly to the west, while inland, grassy hills rise and fall in gentle waves. The preserve is a haven for birdlife, with hawks soaring overhead and shorebirds feeding at the water's edge. Here, you can breathe deeply, far from the bustle of city life, and feel the quiet power of the ocean. Continue south, and the coast begins to mellow, the cliffs softening into sandy beaches, and the forests giving way to chaparral and oak woodland. Yet adventure is never far away. For those who live for the thrill of the waves, Rincon Point is a legendary stop. Straddling the border between Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, Rincon is known among surfers as the Queen of the Coast. Its perfectly shaped waves and famously long rides have drawn surfers from around the world for decades. But even if you're not a surfer, the experience of watching the experts carve through the surf is exhilarating. The area is also well equipped for visitors, with public access points and amenities that make it easy to linger and soak in the sun. As your journey draws toward its southern conclusion, the coastline becomes increasingly sun-drenched and vibrant. Dana Point marks the southern terminus of the Pacific Coast Highway, and it's a fitting end to a spectacular journey. Here, the cliffs are golden, the harbors lively, and the beaches broad and welcoming. The Dana Point headlands are a highlight, offering miles of scenic trails, dramatic overlooks, and the chance to spot migrating whales from the bluffs during the winter and spring months. But the magic of a California coast road trip lies not just in its most famous destinations, but in the countless hidden gems and spontaneous moments along the way. As you drive, you'll pass through charming seaside towns like Mendocino, with its rugged headlands and Victorian architecture, Carmel by the Sea, with its storybook cottages and windswept cypress trees, and Cambria, perched above moonstone-strewn beaches. Each offers its own blend of natural beauty and local flavor. You'll discover small state parks and hidden beaches, tide pools teeming with life, and stretches of coastline where elephant seals haul out to rest. You might find yourself following a trail through wildflowers to a secret cove, or pausing at a roadside overlook to watch dolphins play in the surf below. There are moments of grandeur, like walking beneath the ancient redwoods of Humboldt, and moments of quiet intimacy, like watching the sunset through Keyhole Rock at Pfeiffer Beach. There is the exhilaration of the open road, the anticipation of what lies around the next bend, and the deep, abiding sense of connection that comes from immersing yourself in some of the most spectacular natural landscapes in the world. And with recent developments, such as the reopening of Nacimiento-Ferguson Road, granting renewed access to the wonders of Big Sur, and the unveiling of the Estero Americano Coast Preserve in Sonoma County, there have never been more opportunities to experience the very best of California's coastal wilderness. So, as you plan your own California coast road trip, consider these top nature destination places your essential stops. Start with the towering redwoods of the Avenue of the Giants, where time slows and the world grows quiet beneath ancient trees. Wander through the lush, otherworldly Fern Canyon, where ferns and mosses create a living tapestry on canyon walls. Marvel at the dramatic cliffs and wild beaches of Big Sur, making time for the ethereal beauty of Pfeiffer Beach and the adventure of the newly reopened Nacimiento-Ferguson Road. Challenge yourself with the rewarding hike to Point Sal State Beach, where seclusion and rugged beauty await. Explore the newly opened Estero Americano Coast Preserve, where rolling hills meet the sea and new trails beckon. Feel the energy of Rincon Point, whether you're riding the waves or simply soaking in the scene. And finally, savor the golden bluffs and panoramic views of Dana Point, where your journey finds its southernmost crescendo. Yet, the true joy of a California coast road trip is not just in checking off famous destinations, but in allowing yourself to be surprised, to take the detour, to linger at the overlook, to follow the trail that leads somewhere unexpected. The California coastline is alive with possibility, its beauty ever-changing, its wonders waiting to be discovered by those with a sense of adventure and a love for the natural world. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a lifelong Californian, the journey along the Pacific Coast Highway is a reminder of the state's extraordinary natural riches, its power to inspire awe, and its enduring capacity to renew the spirit. So pack your bags, fuel up your car, and set out on the road. California's coast is calling, and the adventure of a lifetime awaits.